Look at that big girl. She's huge. Have you ever seen purple bread? I was born in 91 and I'm 31, so this has to be a like 32-year-old tank. Good morning, everyone. I'm Dan from Sydney's Angels, and thank you for tuning in and checking out another video. I got my coffee, I'm ready to go. Sydney's sleeping. First off, I want to thank everyone for the support. I had no idea people even wanted to watch my videos, and I already have 250 subscribers. That blew my mind. I am very grateful for that. I appreciate everyone that's commenting, leaving very nice comments, and engaging with me. It just really fuels me to keep going. So today's going to be kind of a vlog style. I'm going to keep it pretty unedited, and I just want to show you guys I think 3 projects I'm going to be working on in the future. I've been working a ton of overtime at work, and I haven't really been able to work on this stuff, so I just want to let you guys know there is stuff in the works, and I'm really excited about it once I get time to do it. So behind me, if anyone's curious, this is a 60-gallon tank. I have a few hundred Philippine blue angelfish. They're a few weeks old now. You can see the first batch. They're getting pretty decent size. They're going to get close to dime size soon, and I'll start selling them. I've sold completely out of my marble angelfish. I can't believe how many people wanted to buy those. I was very surprised. So thank you for the support if you bought some of those off of me. I hope you're doing well. I've learned a lot since that. I've learned how to grow them a lot faster. I'm doing water changes all the time. They're getting fed when I'm home 3 times a day at least. So you can see I have a couple hundred of these guys in here. I've also got some super red plecos. That's a project for the future. And I've got some clown plecos in here too. But that's not what I want to talk to you guys about. There's 3 tanks that I'm going to be working on in the next month. And I'm super pumped about it, and I want to kind of share that with you guys. First tank that I want to talk about is this 30 to 35 gallon hexagon. Old school kind of tank. Really good friends of ours gave it to us. He was a retired school teacher, and he had this in his classroom for a number of years. And actually, somewhere on it, it says 1990, so it's old. I think I was born in 91, and I'm 31, so this has to be a like 32-year-old tank. But it's holding water just fine. I see there's a few angels left, and like a lot of things, when I set stuff up, I get really excited. I don't really think about it, and I just kind of like threw some Eco Complete on the bottom of this with coarse gravel on top, and I like the way the gravel looks. But live plants, in my experience, in my opinion, they really do well in aqua soil and Eco Complete, and this coarse gravel just makes it a lot harder for their roots to move around in. So you can see I have some crypts in here. But not a whole lot. So my plan for this, and I'd be interested in your thoughts, is draining it all down, taking everything out, moving whatever crypts are in here into here where there's Eco Complete. Because you can see I've got some crypts that are doing really well in here. And check out that lily. Got that from Aquarium Co-op. That's really taken off. Tiger Lotus, I think. I'm gonna completely strip this tank, and I'm gonna fill it up with aqua soil. My new friend Steve was nice enough to give me an absolute ton of aqua soil. This is all fluval stratum, lightly used, which if you don't know, you can reuse aqua soil. You might have to put some root tabs in it and revitalize it, but you can reuse it. So I already used a bunch of this in a project I'm gonna share with you. And check this out. Steve is super generous. This is ADA Amazonia aqua soil. It's a ton. Steve said he dropped about $600 on this. He was planting a 220-gallon tank. He had it about 5 inches thick as a substrate, and it just didn't work with his water. He just gave it to me. I thought that was super, super generous. He didn't have to do that. So I'm going to definitely be giving him a lot of fish once I have more fish. Steve, if you guys don't know from my one of my last videos, he's a big rainbowfish guy. He knows a ton about rainbowfish. This in the hexagon, lushly planted, some kind of hardscape, going vertically. And I think I'm just going to make it a Skittles Neocaridina shrimp tank. Let me know what you think about that. I want hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different colored shrimp just bouncing around in here. Not really, like, as far as profit-wise, it's not the smartest thing in the world, but I don't care. I think it would be really fun. And I could sell Skittles packs, like, on the website, you know, for really cheap, just to get people into shrimp. Because I do have some, like, really low-grade cherry shrimp in here that I could just, you know, any kind of coal shrimp, basically. It's going to be my coal shrimp tank. Because, you know, I am going to line breed shrimp, too, and keep them, you know, as colored up as possible. But there's plenty of shrimp. Like, this orange one wasn't orange enough, so I put him in here. Sure, he looks orange on the camera, but I don't know. He just didn't look as good as the rest of them, so I threw him in here. So my idea would be to make a really beautiful planted tank, lush plants. Shrimp love plants because it provides an extra area for biofilm and other tasty, yummy foods to grow on. Just planted heavily with maybe a giant rock coming up the middle, or a piece of wood, or some kind of really dramatic looking hardscape, and just maybe even hiding the sponge filter behind all the plants. And I just think that'd be a lot of fun. I'd feed it heavily. Been researching a lot about shrimp, and I think I could really, hopefully with some luck, make that take off. Let me know what you think about that. That's project number 1. Project number 2 is my indoor 100-gallon Mutt guppy tank. I'm not the first one to do this. I certainly won't be the last one to do this. But if you haven't ever kept a pond, oh, you're missing out. It is so much fun. What I like about this tank is it looks natural right now. It looks kind of like an outdoor ecosystem with all the floating cover I've got. I've got some two different kinds of hyacinth. My dad gave me this from his pond. It's not doing so hot. Maybe it needs more light. Steve gave me the shorter version from his ponds. And a pro tip for guppies, if you're trying to breed more guppies and you're wondering why you're not getting any babies, probably don't have enough cover. They're probably getting eaten immediately, because guppies love to eat their own fry. Like Michael's Fish Room says, they're tender and delicious, and he's right. So if you look in here, you'll see there is a ton of babies. See all the little babies in there? I hope you can pick that up. I can zoom in. I'm all shaky because I'm drinking too much coffee. Let's see. Yeah, see that? So by floating some water sprite, which by the way, water sprite, if you don't know, it's a very easy plant. Anyone can grow it. It grows very fast. What you do is you take a chunk of it, throw it in your tank, let it get established, and it'll float, and it'll grow nice and thick. And that provides safe haven for fry. The bigger guppies can't get up in there. There's not enough room for them to swim around. So I got to do something. We had a bunch of kids over yesterday because my family, I've got a 16-month-old. My niece is 4. My nephew is 2. They were all over yesterday. And kids love guppies. Kids love the guppy pond. And something that I like to do, and it's not stressing them out because I'm really gentle. Kids love when you do this and you show them all the different colors. I mean, there is just, every time you pick it up, you have different combinations you can look at. And this is kind of how I get a feel of what I got in here. Look at that big girl. She's huge. That's one of the guppies that had, I think, 70 babies for me one time. And I know that because my wife counts when we're moving them from tank to tank. So you can see I have a bunch of different guppies in here. I've also got some red tuxedo platies. I could not resist these guys. We were at a fish store. I've only owned platies once, never bred them. And these guys, I don't know if the camera even does it justice, but they're a really nice red with some black accents. I think that's why they're called tuxedos. And I want to breed these guys too, and I feel like they'll do well in a guppy tank. we'll find out. I had their own tank set up, but then I figured I don't have enough tank space. I never do. So I've just put them in here for now. This pond is not done. What I'm thinking about doing, I don't know if I have anything over here. Well, like old Tupperwares, old pots, planting them with that soil again, dropping them down to the bottom, and growing different plants for more cover. And just because I love plants, I want tons of plants. I don't want to fill the bottom with substrate because then it's just another thing to clean. And one thing I've learned is bare bottom tanks are super easy to clean. You can keep the water really nice. So this is project number 2 I want to work on. I'm thinking about getting some raised platforms in here. Growing some lily pads I think would be really pretty. More plants, obviously, a better light, maybe just a stronger floodlight, or even a shop light. And then, for equipment, I've got a Fluval 207 canister. I'm thinking about making a waterfall over here. You know, attaching something. I've seen, there's really cool videos on YouTube, and I can't think of anyone off the top of my head that has done this, but, well, I can think of one guy, but I can't think of his name. Somehow anchor something, you know, like on this side. I don't know if I had to screw it, clamp it, build a platform for water to trickle down, put some terrestrial plants on it, some moss, some hardscape. How cool would that look? It would just kind of make it look less like a fish tank and more like an aquascape. But yeah, I encourage anyone that hasn't done this, if your significant other doesn't mind you being crazy and bringing this in the winter, because I live in Illinois, so I have to. And I'd be lying if I told you this isn't going to be my only pond. I'm going to see how many ponds I can buy next year. Yeah, I mean, $100 I think it was at Farm and Fleet. It's a Rubbermaid 100-gallon stock tub. I think they use it for livestock. Super sweet tank. I'm going to make a better video about this pond. I just want to let you guys know I haven't forgotten about it. I mean, just to let you know like how crazy my work schedule's been lately. The last 6 days I've been home, one of them. So, you know, it's not always like that, but a lot of different industries right now are experiencing shortages, and we are definitely one of them. So we're doing our best. But yeah, if you buy guppies from me on my website, and I'm on eBay too, but I prefer my website, they're like $2 a piece. So it's super cheap, but you're not necessarily paying for any specific kind of guppy. What you're paying for is quality and USA bred. And let me explain what that means. So when you get guppies from Petco, PetSmart, and I'm not trying to talk bad about those places, I've certainly used them a bunch. A lot of times they're imported. That's a really stressful life event for the guppy to go through. They're in a bag for God knows how long, traveling from Indonesia, India, who knows where they're coming from. I need to educate myself better on that stuff, but I know it's far away. They get here, they might already have picked up a parasite or two along the way. Not to mention, a lot of other countries, and I learned a lot of this on Aquarium Co-op, they have, freshwater is really hard to get in other countries. It's expensive. So they're doing outdoor tubs and outdoor ponds, and what they're doing is they're mixing fresh water with salt water because that's how they can afford to do it. And there's nothing wrong with that, but when they get to America, we don't have brackish water. We don't have salt water in our water. Our water is very good. We're very lucky. And they just fall apart in our water. They really do. Not to mention, they're really prone to internal parasites. So when you buy a $2 guppy from me, yeah, they're just guppies. They're the beginner fish, although I'll never stop owning them because I love live bears. What I do is I get every guppy I ever get in, it spends at least a week in quarantine, a lot of times 2 weeks, and I hit them with a medication trio. And let me grab that so that I can show you what I use. Okay, this is another great thing I learned on Aquarium Co-op. This is the medication trio that I got from Corey. I think it's all by, is it all by Fritz? Who makes this? I don't even know. Whatever. So Paracleanse, Maricin, and ICX. Might sound kind of intense, but every fish I ever get gets all 3 of these meds. Basically what I do is I put them in a 10-gallon tank, and I treat the tank 1 time with this stuff, day 1. Then I just let them chill for 7 days, let it marinate. And I learned all this from Corey, so if this sounds familiar, that's where you heard it. After about a week, if they all look really healthy still, I'll put them in another tank. And I guess my goal with guppies in particular is to breed them as fast as possible, because remember the brackish water we talked about? The adults sometimes, no matter what you do, they just end up passing away, and it's unfortunate, but that's what happens. The offspring that come from the adults, they're born in this freshwater system, and they do very well in our water. They're bulletproof. I mean, I've never, knock on wood, this isn't wood, but you get the idea, I've never lost a freshwater guppy yet since I've been breeding them, because I've taken the time to medicate them. I've taken the time to make sure they were healthy. Excuse me. And I've bred them in fresh water. And I'm not anything special. I'm just following some simple directions I learned on the internet. But I can tell you, quarantining pays off. It really does. So if you take anything away from this video, medicate your fish, or at least quarantine them. Put them in a tank for 7 days. Make sure they're healthy. And you're just going to really set yourself up for success. So before we move on to project number 3, let's give these guys a little bit of food. Guppies will eat anything, by the way. I'm just giving them some flake food right now, but ferocious little guppies. And then actually, what I do, I'll drop a little food right here, and this filter, this canister, will kind of push it, and it'll go like into here, so that, you know, these little dudes get some food too. Because there is, for whatever reason, they're not out yet, but there is a ton of them. Like, I was here last night just kind of chilling, watching it. I don't know, I saw at least 50, 100 babies in there. So that's project number 2 I want to be working on. Really want to make this nice. It's a super fun project. Like I said, kids love it. I love it. You get a nice little water sound down here, which is nice. So let me talk about the last project I'm working on. So the 3rd project I'm working on is going to be for these guys. And if you didn't see one of my most recent videos, my friend Steve has I think he's got 22 different, well, as of yesterday, I guess 24 different species of rainbowfish. He is very knowledgeable on rainbowfish, and he gave me 4 mops of eggs just to see if we could kind of get them to hatch over here. And I think so far, the results speak for themselves. The fish look really happy. They're eating brine shrimp now. They're growing a lot faster. If you don't know, rainbowfish grow really slow. So the last project I'm going to be working on is a 75-gallon Aquascape grow out tank for these guys. It's a nice planted, clean, simple tank for rainbowfish. My dad is giving me a 75-gallon aquarium that he doesn't want anymore. He's retired. He doesn't want to deal with the maintenance of an aquarium. But he's had this aquarium since I was a little kid. Actually, it used to be built into the wall of my room when I was really young, and I still remember that. It was really cool. So I'm going to be getting that tank from him in the next week or so, and there's no rush to set it up. I mean, honestly, right now I'm probably going to be using it for a angelfish grow out tank because I have so many. But once those guys get big enough and sold, I'm going to aquascape it with some of that soil Steve gave me, and I'm going to put a ton of different rainbowfish in there. And for all you rainbowfish guys out there, I'm not going to be crossbreeding them or anything crazy like that. These are all legit strains. I'm just growing them out. And then if I choose to breed them, I will select certain ones and put them in 20-gallon tanks. But yeah, these fry are really exploding in here. I'm really pumped. Just removed the nets yesterday. I'm sorry, the heck are those things called? The mops. I removed the mops yesterday. So that's something else to look out for. I don't have that tank, so I can't show you. And if you've somehow survived this long into the video, I got some bonus footage to show you that I'm really pumped about. Take you upstairs. So for people that have been following me for a little bit, you know that my first aquarium ever was a 90-gallon. And recently Steve came over and we tore it apart all the way down into the soil, kept the soil, and replanted it. And the main reason why was it was almost like a Dutch style tank, and I don't have time right now to take care of the stem plants and the pruning and the trimming that go along with that. I always wanted a nature style aquarium. So what we did was we ripped everything out and we put a bunch of hardscape in, primarily wood and a couple stones, and planted a bunch of slow growing plants. And I'm not going to remember all the plants, but let me just show you around real quick because I'm really excited to watch this grow in, and of course I'll keep you guys updated on the progress. First thing before I forget, I am going to be getting a black background. I think that's going to look really, really sharp. Also, there's way too many fish in here. All the angelfish are going downstairs to grow out. Some of them are getting donated, and yeah, I'll move fish around. It's mainly going to be just the bozeman, and I'm going to be breeding these guys eventually. I just don't have the tanks for it right now, but really beautiful fish. They're really happy in this tank. So 90-gallon aquarium, nature style. Wood was found locally, at least some of it was. So this, you can see this colored wood coming up. That's all one piece still, all one piece. Comes out this way, up there. That was found in the Fox River. Steve found that. And then other pieces of wood were donated by Steve too. So you can see, we kind of pieced it together. And what we're doing is very crypt heavy Anubias and Bucephalandra heavy Aquascape. Still dosing a pretty high amount of CO2 in here. Because I want everything to grow in fast because I'm impatient. But I'm not going to remember all the different names of all the different plants. But I believe we have, is it Hemianthum tenellum microsword? That's going to be the carpet all around. And it's kind of a triangular composition. Steve helped me with this. It was his idea to go from the left to right down, and it just looks really good. So I saved a bunch of clips from my last Aquascape. A lot of brown went I. See all that in the bag is all brown. Got some green. I've got some hydrocaudal mini Japan. It's already kind of taken off over here. I bought from Boost Plant some Anubias Nana Petite. Excuse the sloppy thread work. I've never done this before. I was just using some of my wife's cotton thread, so that's why it looks so sloppy. Steve kindly donated me some trident fern. He's got an absolute ton of this stuff in his 220. I'd like to show you guys that someday. There's some trident fern up there. Regular Java fern. Probably gonna move it. I'm not sure if I'm crazy about where it's at right there. Some Java moss. I don't know. I mean, oof, that looks bad, but once it wraps the wood with CO2 and nutrients, hopefully it'll cover up that thread, or I can cut the thread off. But I tied it over there and over there. And listen, folks, I did what I had time to do. I'm super duper busy. I think I said that in every video, but there's plenty of more stuff I'd like to do with this tank. But what I do is either early in the morning, late at night, or while Sydney's sleeping. So one step at a time. It's a new crypt I picked up locally. I forget what it's called, but it's like a very broad leaf. I got 2 of those. Just a really pretty texture. I've got some different Anubias. That's just regular Anubias Nana. The other one floated away, but it's a pretty big chunk too. And you can see, I mean, it's just I think it's gonna look really sweet. And then Steve gave me some stone that he found in Colorado. I think complements the wood really nicely. And before anyone's like, why is there stones on the wood? It's because we had to weigh it down. So that Ceru stone will be getting taken out, that one too. And it's just weighing it down. But yeah. Excited to, oh yeah, and we've got some more crypts back here. I forget what these are called. Please excuse my ignorance with all this stuff, but these get tall. They're going to kind of come up over. What I like about crypts, and I like about Java Fern, and I like about Anubias, less maintenance. Less maintenance. More enjoying it. More working with the fish downstairs. But I don't necessarily want to get rid of my aquascapes either. I was an aquascaper first and then a fish nerd. And I don't see any reason why I can't just do both of them. But I got to be smart about it. I'd drive myself crazy if I tried to take care of all the stem plants. So the only stem plants we have is a little Ludwigia in the back. I don't even know if it's popping out yet. Yeah, it's back there. So should be a pretty fun tank to watch grow in. Oh, and then some Bucephalandra. What was this stuff called? What's this, Brownie Ghost? I can't remember. Maybe I'll throw it in the description. I got that from Boost Plant. It actually looked a little beat up when I got it, honestly. But hopefully it bounces back. But that, look at that. Anubias Petite. That is beautiful. I think I'm already seeing some new leaves. And obviously, this Trident Fern is going to start. I think the rhizome just keeps growing and expanding, and the roots are going to kind of grab onto the wood. So I think I'm going to get it to kind of come up over this hump back here, maybe up here. More Anubias, more boosts. You know, when I have more funds to spend on this tank. They're kind of in other areas right now, but yeah, just wanted to show you guys this 90 gallon. Super happy with how it's turning out, and curious to see what your thoughts are too. Totally unrelated, but I just got a Blackstone grill and I'm nerding out about it. That's not the coolest part. Have you ever seen purple bread? I think it's potato bread. We were at a fancy bakery and I didn't understand what I was looking at, but I got excited and we got some purple bread. Cheese. 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 So thank you everyone for watching. If you found this video useful and entertaining in any way, hit that like button. It really helps me out. You don't have to subscribe, but if you're into dorky guys making videos about fish, hit that subscribe button for more content like this. If you haven't checked out my website, it's sydneysangels.com. We named it after my daughter, Sydney. I sell some fish so that I can buy my wife some nice shoes and buy more fish. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you guys are all having a great week. And we'll see you on the next video. Bye.